So that's that. Now, as far as Jay-Z is concerned, this can really go one of two ways. This might be an isolated one-off case that he has to defend, or potentially it could be a Me Too type situation where other victims come forward. Obviously, we saw that with Diddy and Cassie Ventura. So the coming days and weeks are really going to be telling. And Tony Busby says he has more than 100, maybe up to 300 victims he's representing. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of them also name Jay-Z.
And Nima, if such a high-profile name like Jay-Z has come out, could more celebrity names be tied to these lawsuits? What do you think we can expect?
No question. This may just be the first celebrity domino, and Jay-Z was unmasked as celebrity A, but let's not forget there's a celebrity B in that same lawsuit that allegedly witnessed the sexual assault, a female celebrity. And there was someone who went on CNN earlier this week and said that his sexual assault was witnessed by another celebrity as well. So I think we're going to see more celebrity names identified very soon.
All right, Nima Rani, thank you so much for joining us. As you said, this is one that has entered the court of public opinion. It's nice to have your actual legal advice on it.
The walls of the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York are closing in, and the man once known for running the rap game is now just another inmate fighting to survive. Sources say Diddy's time behind bars has turned into a living nightmare. Constant fear, sleepless nights, and even breakdowns that have left him shaking in his cell. Reports say he's been assaulted multiple times and has even talked about hurting himself. This isn't the flashy life he once flaunted. It's cold, dark, and dangerous. And with names like Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez getting dragged into his legal mess, things are spiraling fast. According to insiders, Diddy's terrified, straight up terrified, of what's coming next. His dark past is catching up, and it's not just rumors anymore. Inmates are coming forward with lawsuits, dropping accusations that sound straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you knowing Diddy personally, do you think it's possible he might take his life?
It takes a certain individual to prepare himself to do a lot of years in jail. From the lifestyle that he had, I'm not saying that he can't. I just don't see him able to do time behind bars. Maybe if he be in a camp type situation, that's a possibility. But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He'd do an Epstein.
Why do you think he didn't pull a Russell Simmons and leave the country?
They was watching him, bruh. They was watching him. And then I think that he had to turn over his passport. Even if you own your own private jet, they have a system up there whereas that they supposed to check your passport and anything that you need to fly as if you were flying commercial.
One of the most shocking stories comes from a man named Jonathan I, who claims Diddy kept him as a sex slave. Jonathan was arrested after a 2018 shooting at Trump's National Doral golf course in Miami, but during questioning he dropped a bomb, saying Diddy and his powerful Hollywood connections forced him into crimes and exploitation. Jonathan even mentioned the so-called gay mafia in Hollywood, saying they made him do things on Diddy's orders. The man looked broken when he said it, like he'd been through something real twisted. And it doesn't stop there. Another inmate, Cardello Smith, came forward with his own nightmare, saying Diddy framed him for a crime and even assaulted him back in 1997 at a Detroit Holiday Inn. Cardello said he was just a bartender trying to make a living when Diddy attacked him, filmed the whole thing, and kept the footage as some kind of trophy. But the craziest part? He claims Jennifer Lopez, yes, J-Lo herself, saw the tape and stayed silent. According to court filings, Cardello says J-Lo was with Diddy during that time and knew about the video but never said a word to police. He even says she was questioned by Detective Derek Palmer in New York and admitted she knew the tape existed. In his legal documents, Cardello wrote that Jennifer Lynn Lopez, aka Jenny from the Block, will be called as a material witness. Saying she was forced by Diddy to stay quiet about that tape, he claims she knew exactly what went down. that the recording was stored at Diddy's New York studio and that she did nothing to help the victim. That's wild. And if it's true, it changes everything people thought about that era of her relationship with Diddy. Diddy's lawyers are trying to get the whole case thrown out, but Cardello ain't backing down. He dropped a 200-page legal response filled with detailed case law and receipts. The man's not playing around. He says Diddy threatened to kill him and his family if he spoke up. Cardello even wrote that the only reason he's speaking now is because Homeland Security raided Diddy's homes, which made him feel safe enough to come forward. That's how deep this fear runs. He also said guards and inmates in prison have threatened him on Diddy's behalf, meaning this man's life could be in danger just for speaking. And here's the wild part. While all this is happening, Diddy's lawyers tried to buy his way out of jail. They offered a $50 million bail package backed by his mom, sister, and kids, but the judge wasn't having it.
He's suffering the consequence, and I don't feel bad for him at all. Because people was trying to talk to him. People was trying to tell him. You couldn't pull him by the coat and let him know anything. You understand? They messed up the game, brother. When he put that shit out with them, money, power, respect, it ain't never been like that. It ain't never been like that. You got your respect in the street that gave you your power, that brought you your money. Totally different thing. He let that money, power, and respect go to his head, but he had it ass backwards. So do I care what happened? Nah. He got enough money to buy his way out of this. So we think.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit suicide?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars, he could probably help them.
The government said the charges were too serious: racketeering, sex trafficking, witness tampering, and that he could bribe or intimidate witnesses if released. They even said Diddy and his crew tried to mess with witness testimony last year, which is why the court said no deal. Imagine thinking $50 million could get you out, only for the judge to say, not today. Now he's stuck inside, and insiders say he's losing his mind. They say he's scared to be moved into general population because celebrities don't last long there. No special treatment, no luxury, just bars, noise, and danger. Word is, some inmates already have their eyes on him. Many of them are serving life sentences and see hurting a celebrity like Diddy as a fast way to gain respect inside. He's facing people who've got nothing left to lose. For years, Diddy allegedly used money, fear, and power to control everyone around him, from industry insiders to victims who couldn't speak up. Now karma's sitting right beside him in that cold cell. Sources say he's paranoid, barely eating, and jumps at every sound in the night. He used to have bodyguards and private jets. Now he's got cellmates and guards who hate him. And what's worse, the same dark secrets he tried to bury for decades are being dug up piece by piece. New lawsuits keep piling up, old cases are being reopened, and victims who were once silent are finding their voices again. Diddy's downfall isn't just about money or fame, it's about a lifetime of manipulation, lies, and control coming full circle. The man who once ran the industry like a kingpin is now sitting in a cell facing everything he thought he escaped. And it's not just Diddy under the spotlight. His old friends, business partners, and exes are all being pulled into the storm. Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, and more might have to testify as this chaos unfolds. What was once a world of luxury, power, and secrecy is turning into one of fear, exposure, and revenge.
According to a report from the Daily Mail, that's why Diddy had a breakdown. A person close to him apparently said, quote, spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him. If we're to believe all this, Diddy had a meltdown in his cell and begged the guards to take him to the hospital for observation, but they refused. This same friend or person told the Daily Mail, quote, he eventually managed to calm himself down with the meditation technique he's been using while he's been behind bars. It took him a few hours of deep breathing and focusing to get out of the bad space he was in, but he finally managed it. This isn't the first time Diddy's mental health has come into question while he's been at MDC. When he first arrived, he was on suicide watch, which the U.S. Department of Justice National Institute of Corrections describes as supervisory precautions taken for suicidal inmates that require frequent observation. Diddy's suicide watch was only temporary, though. He was housed in a special protective unit of the jail after that for the first few weeks of his stay. But Diddy right now is in Gen Pop, meaning general population, the place where majority of the inmates stay. And that's where he apparently had this meltdown.
People inside say Diddy's cracking under pressure, talking to himself, pacing all night, begging for isolation because he knows what could happen if he's thrown in with everyone else. This is no longer about fame, it's survival now. While Diddy's locked up fighting for his life, his downfall is shaking up the whole industry. And the shockwaves are hitting his old ally, Jay-Z. People inside say Hav is terrified right now. His name keeps getting pulled into court filings, and sources claim investigators are circling closer than ever. Even worse, there are whispers that his lawyers have been caught doing some serious dirt behind the scenes. Jay-Z's always been smooth and strategic, but this mess might be the one storm he can't finesse his way out of. Court records show Jay-Z's legal team has been pushing hard to get the names of victims in the cases connected to him and Diddy. But judges keep saying no, they're not letting those names come out, and that's driving his team crazy. It's like the walls are closing in on all sides and Jay-Z's people can't control the story anymore. And then, things took a wild turn. Reports say some of his lawyers were pretending to be FBI agents. Yeah, you read that right. Flashing fake badges, showing up at people's homes and trying to scare or bribe witnesses into staying quiet. What kind of madness is that? A man from Texas named Jose Maldonado filed a 13-page lawsuit in Harris County, dropping explosive claims that Jay-Z's lawyers and Roc Nation were behind a full-blown conspiracy to tamper with witnesses. The lawsuit names attorney Marcy Bryan Croft, her firm MJ Legal, and Jay-Z's powerhouse legal team Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart & Sullivan, plus Roc Nation itself. Maldonado says they tried to get him and other people to turn on their old lawyer Tony Busby, who's been representing multiple victims in cases against Jay-Z. According to the filing, these so-called agents were pretending to work for the state of Texas and offering up to $10,000 for people to sue Busby's firm. And they got caught on audio doing it. That's not just shady, that's criminal. The lawsuit claims Roc Nation was bankrolling the entire thing and that Marcy Croft was calling the shots. In one recording, these agents even bragged about how their fake lawsuits would be reported in the media to make Busby look bad.
P. Diddy's gotten a hall pass. He's actually created his own kingdom where he makes his own rules, and you got to follow his rules or you get penalized. And guess what, Laura? He's now in a federal penitentiary, and for the first time in his life, he's facing his own fate at the hands of somebody else. And I will tell you, Laura, I've done federal cases, that's not the place you want to be in federal court. 90% of federal criminal indictments brought down are pled out, right? A plea deal is brought. And of the only 10% left, 90% of those defendants that go to trial, they lose. So he is looking at a daunting uphill battle to fight these horrible charges.
Now, Brian, one of the DHS agents involved in this raid on his Miami mansion described what he saw inside the house, saying that, in my opinion, he's as bad as Epstein. These women are young, either barely legal or barely illegal. Brian, this sounds like he was a monster.
Yeah, Laura, I will tell you that this indictment was very detailed, by the way, too. Your viewers should know there were over 300 subpoenas served, over 50 witnesses interviewed. Why is that important? Because the federal prosecutors aren't going to be leveling an indictment like this unless they have ammunition and they have cause to bring it. And the core issue at this case, which the feds have to prove, which it's looking like they can, is that P. Diddy essentially controlled these women. that he threatened them with stopping that money that he was paying them, that he spiked their drinks with drugs. That's been alleged in the indictment. And that he basically told them, I'm going to ruin your life unless you engage in these freak-offs. And that's really what the prosecutor's got to prove. And if you've got some victims coming forward to talk about that, you've got financial records that prove that, travel itinerary that proves that, P. Diddy has very little defense. And I got to tell you, Laura, if this guy wants to fight these charges, he's going to have to step up and walk into a courtroom and talk about it. If he doesn't testify in this case, he is dead on arrival.
Well, who else is on these tapes? I mean, will the tapes ever see the light of day? I mean, that's what everybody's talking about. Who else is there? It's like with the Epstein, his pleasure island. Who else? Who went? Who was there? What's the manifest? But Brian, chances 1 being least likely, 10 being most likely. Will we learn of other celebrities that were at these freak-offs?
Yeah, I think you've got an 8 or a 9 for a likelihood you're going to hear about it. Why? Because there are going to be more indictments coming down, Laura. That's an important point here, because he's being charged with racketeering and conspiracy. You're going to have, well, let's start on the inner circle. You're going to have former bodyguards. You can possibly have former musicians that he was with. You've got personal assistants that are going to be, they're already talking about this. Some of those are likely to be charged. And then guess what? If you've got some music moguls that are sending women over to these alleged freak-offs, then you've got some top people that are going to start crumbling too, because they're all part of what's called this criminal enterprise.
Maldonado says they went to his dad's house by mistake, pretending to be federal officers, then kept harassing him after realizing they had the wrong address. He said they called nonstop, pushed him to join their scheme, and promised him big money if he went along. Instead, he went to Busby, and now Busby's suing everyone involved. Busby told the Houston Chronicle that this behavior was illegal and unethical and said he won't be intimidated. His words hit hard. We won't be deterred. I expect more lawsuits will follow. That means this isn't just a one-time slip-up. It's the start of something big. Busby says investigators have already confirmed that fake agents have been traveling across the country, trying to bribe former clients into flipping sides. If that's true, then Roc Nation might be in deeper trouble than anyone expected. Meanwhile, Marcy Croft fired back with her own statement saying the lawsuit reeks of desperation. She claims she's been fighting corruption for 25 years and that Busby's the one who should be worried. But that statement only added fuel to the fire, because if she's so clean, why are there tapes of her people offering money and flashing fake badges? Something here doesn't add up. This is where things get even crazier. Because according to former prosecutors, this legal war between Diddy's circle and Jay-Z's lawyers could expose some powerful names across entertainment, politics, and even royalty. Nima Rahmani, a former federal prosecutor, said flat out, "This is just the beginning." He warned that the deeper investigators dig into Diddy's files, the more famous names could start falling. This ain't just Hollywood gossip. This could turn into one of the biggest federal takedowns the industry has ever seen. Now here's where Jay-Z's nightmare connects straight back to Diddy. Remember, Diddy's mansion raids uncovered a ton of disturbing evidence. Not just files, but physical rooms designed for things that can't even be said on TV. Homeland Security agents say they found secret areas for entertainment, hidden cameras, and disturbing video files involving multiple people, including celebrities and politicians. When word of that leaked, insiders started whispering that if Diddy decides to cooperate, he could bring the whole tower down. Imagine this, a man like Diddy facing decades behind bars, watching his empire burn, knowing that the only way out might be naming names. Prosecutors would cut deals fast if he started talking. He's sitting on decades of dirt, every secret party, every arrangement, every payoff. And if Jay-Z's name is anywhere near that paper trail, this could destroy his billion-dollar brand overnight. Insiders claim Jay-Z's team is already working overtime to distance him from Diddy. No phone calls, no public mentions, nothing. It's like they erased history. But people remember, the two once ran the scene together, both connected through music, money, and powerful friends. You can't just act like none of that happened now that the feds are watching. And the timing couldn't be worse. With Diddy locked away and more lawsuits dropping every week, Jay-Z's spotless image is cracking. Fans are questioning his silence, wondering why he hasn't spoken up. Some say it's guilt, others say it's strategy.
So why did you believe in these cases, and why didn't you believe in others that you were presented with?
Well, the thing with a sexual abuser, is they follow a pattern. They fall to type, and you become very clear on what that pattern is, particularly a serial sexual abuser. And these cases were all identical in the facts, identical in the story. It was beginning, middle, conclusion.
They know each other?
Boom. None of them knew each
Did you
other.
have them meet?
No.
Did you have them coordinate stories?
No, no.
Do you think they had any contact with each other before they came to you?
Absolutely not.
And when you were talking to them, well, first, the ones that you didn't take, why not?
Stories didn't make sense. Stories didn't fit the pattern. Stories were not credible. I mean, this is my 30th year as a lawyer. I've tried over 100 cases. I can assess whether somebody's story is credible. And if I don't believe it, I'm not going to put my name on a pleading, sign it, and file it in court. I'm not doing that. And that's what I did with the 60 plus cases that I rejected.
And this is not really your area of expertise. If people look you up, celebrity lawsuits is not really where you make your bones. Why this?
Well, I was involved in the Weinstein litigation. Right. I was involved in the Paducah litigation. I was involved in the Hayden litigation. Why did I do this? I do this because it's important. I think it's important for people to be heard, have their chance to get the power back. Because sexual abuse, sexual assault is about one thing: taking power, humiliating, demeaning a person and a victim. It has nothing to do with sex. And so I think it's important. I think it's important to get the word out. I think it's important for men to feel, hey, look, I can come out and be heard just like a woman could.
And the defense that, look, they knew what they were getting into. These are regrets. They went there, they partied, and now they see a pocket.
No, I don't think so. My client
Were they gay men?
One was bisexual, the other ones were not. And they were going there. The client was bisexual, worked for Diddy. Diddy owed him money for doing errands for him and being his step and fetch, for lack of a better word. And I think it was a power move. It was a clear power move because this guy had the nerve to come to him and say, you owe me money. And so Diddy said, come on to the Intercontinental Hotel. He gives him the drug, knocks him out, sodomizes him. And I won't use the term that my client used, but he said he tried to turn me into his B word. And I think it was a clear power move on each and every occasion. I think the ones that took place in the Park Hyatt, that wasn't partying. My client met him at a nightclub in the city here with a music producer. He didn't think he was getting into that. The man who was raped in the Hamptons, he thought he was going to a white party. Who wouldn't want to go to a white party? I would have gone to a white party back in the day. I wouldn't go now. But they went there innocently, and this is what happened to them.
I never went. I appreciate you very much. We will follow the cases.
But either way, the internet's not buying the businessman act anymore. They want answers. Behind the scenes, Rock Nation insiders say people are panicking. Staff are being told not to talk to media, not to share anything, and not to even say Diddy's name out loud at the office. The fear is real. They know that if one link in that chain breaks, it could expose the whole machine. The same way Epstein's downfall dragged down powerful men from every corner of the world, this case might do the same for hip-hop and Hollywood's elite. And while all this legal chaos unfolds, Diddy's sitting in that cell shaking, watching his empire and his old allies crumble. Every move Jay-Z's lawyers make just adds more heat to an already boiling situation. The world is watching two of hip-hop's most powerful moguls caught in a web of crime, power, and betrayal, and nobody knows who's telling the truth anymore. Every day inside that cold prison cell, Diddy's world keeps shrinking, and the man who once ruled music, fashion, and nightlife is now just another broken name on a long list of fallen stars. Reports from inside MDC say he's barely recognizable. Pacing around, eyes empty, hair graying fast, and paranoia eating him alive. Sources claim he's having full-on breakdowns, mumbling to himself and begging guards not to move him into general population. He knows what's waiting for him there, people who've lost everything and want to make a name by taking down a legend. One insider said straight up, he's scared for his life. Prison ain't no red carpet, it's all steel, sweat, and silence, and Diddy's fame means nothing in there. The same man who used to throw million-dollar parties now jumps every time a cell door slams. They say he barely eats, barely sleeps, and keeps asking if the guards are being paid off to handle him. Some inmates are already bragging they'll get him for street cred. When you've spent your life untouchable, it's a rude awakening when nobody cares about your money or your name anymore. And the deeper investigators dig, the darker it gets. After Homeland Security raided his mansions, word leaked that they found hidden rooms designed for unspeakable things, with walls lined for soundproofing and cameras everywhere. Sources say what they uncovered makes the Epstein situation look mild in comparison. That's how disturbing some of these files are. They reportedly include videos that prove years of exploitation, blackmail, and manipulation, with some victims even being minors at the time. One investigator said it straight. This wasn't random, it was organized. That's why Homeland Security took over, because what they found crosses state and federal lines. Now new lawsuits are piling up like crazy. The latest one accuses Diddy of raping 3 men. 2 of them used to work for him directly. Their testimonies describe violence, control, and domination, not attraction. One man said Diddy's motive wasn't love or lust, it was power. He said Diddy told him he wanted to break him and make him his property. That's chilling. It shows this wasn't about pleasure. It was about control, about owning people's minds and bodies like trophies. These victims are finally speaking, and they're not backing down this time. Meanwhile, the people who once protected him, the lawyers, the assistants, the bodyguards, they're starting to scatter. Everyone's trying to save themselves. Some are flipping, giving information in exchange for lighter sentences. One former associate said, he thought money could buy silence forever. Not anymore. That's the kind of line that sticks with you, because it sounds like the empire is cracking from the inside out.
So breaking news right now, Larry, I am just getting word. People magazine says it's got a source on the inside that tells them that P. Diddy's on suicide watch tonight. Do your sources confer the same information? Are they saying it was possible?
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on suicide watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight guest. When they told his bond hearing, now they checked him into the system, and reality has hit him. And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on suicide watch. Another error that I guess some warden told you this. There are sentenced inmates there. They're called cadre inmates. They don't have to be white collar inmates, but they're doing maintenance on the building. And the problem why there's a lot of violence there, they have housing units. And they're mixing bank robbers, drug dealers, rapists with white collar people. And this is why Diddy, he can't go into a regular housing unit because somebody will take him out for sure. Somebody's gonna get a lot of street credibility out of this. People that are doing substantial time that know they're never getting out. They'll just kill a guy, no questions asked.
You think that they'd suck up to him because he's got a lot of money, and if he ever does get the commissary options, he would be able to help them.
Some people do because
I gotta wrap it real quick.
Okay, some people do think that Diddy can help him, but this guy's going to be locked up forever. His case will probably take at least 3 years to litigate. He'll stay at MDC. There's rumors that he wants to go to Essex County Jail in New Jersey because he doesn't like MDC. He's a Marshals inmate. There's no way they're going to transfer him back and forth, I don't know, several times a week, 6 Marshals to do it.
Jersey.
He's out of luck.
Even worse, there are whispers that Diddy's about to cooperate with federal agents. Think about that. If he starts talking, if he starts naming names, the dominoes that fall could reach all the way to the top of Hollywood, politics, and global elites. Former prosecutor Nima Rahmani said it clearly. If Diddy turns, people in power will start losing sleep because he knows everything. He's been at every private party, every island trip, every deal made in the dark. One confession from him could bring down a whole generation of powerful people who thought their secrets were safe. And Jay-Z ain't the only one sweating. More big names, producers, label heads, influencers are rumored to be mentioned in sealed evidence files. Some even say royalty might be linked through offshore accounts and donations tied to Diddy's companies. It sounds unreal, but every week another leak drops. Another name, another lawsuit, another crack in the system. It's like the whole celebrity world is holding its breath, waiting to see who gets exposed next. Jennifer Lopez is back under fire too. Her connection to Diddy during the late 90s keeps resurfacing in legal documents. She's accused of staying silent after allegedly seeing that assault footage involving Cardello Smith. Detectives confirmed she was questioned about it years ago, and the documents show she said yes, that she knew the tape existed. Even if she didn't take part in anything, just knowing about it could come back to haunt her now. Fans are torn. Some defend her, others say she should have spoken up. Either way, her name is back in headlines for all the wrong reasons. Inside the cell, Diddy's reportedly losing grip on reality. Some guards said he talks to himself about people betraying him. Others say he stares at the wall for hours, whispering names under his breath. One inmate said, "He's not built for this, he's breaking." And that's the truth. This man spent decades in control, manipulating everyone around him, and now he can't even control when he eats or sleeps. The fear, the humiliation, the karma, it's all crashing down at once. And out here, the world's watching every moment like a live drama. Social media is blowing up with theories. Some say the government's using Diddy as bait to catch bigger fish. Others believe this is just the start of a full-scale cleanup of the entertainment industry. But one thing's for sure, the old days of fame and power protecting the powerful are over. These lawsuits, the raids, the recordings, it's all proof that nobody's untouchable anymore. If Diddy breaks and tells the truth, this could go down as one of the biggest exposés in modern history. Names, dates, videos, all of it could hit the public. People once seen as untouchable could be finished overnight. And if that happens, Diddy's downfall won't just end his legacy, it'll take half of Hollywood down with him. But if he stays silent, he'll spend the rest of his life locked away, haunted by everything he did and everyone he hurt. Every day he sits in that cell, that's the choice. Talk and burn the world, or stay quiet and die in the dark. Either way, Diddy's story has already turned into a modern tragedy. From mansions to madness, from red carpets to cold concrete floors. The man who once made others fear him is now the one living in fear, waiting for the knock on his door, wondering if this is the day the world finally learns everything.